What's up, guys? Devildog Gamer here. Today we're going to be talking about the new changes to sim battles for ground forces that have just occurred in War Thunder. Now, one of my biggest gripes with War Thunder sim battles with the tanks is the minimap. I absolutely cannot stand that you can see everyone on the minimap, but you can't see their markers anywhere else. You shouldn't be able to see anyone. No matter what, for sim battles, you should be able to have to visually look for people. And that's what this new sim battles is testing. This came up as an event, and it was Russians versus Germans, and I had to try it out, because since that was my biggest gripe, removing the minimap element of being able to see enemy locations on the minimap, I really wanted to see what that was like. And I gotta tell you, it was the best experience I had in tanks. This was the first round, and the best round I've ever played in War Thunder tanks. Just the feeling and the immersion of it all was just insanity. I mean, you constantly had to stop and judge your movements based off of, visually checking different areas before you moved into a field and actually look around, keep your head on a swivel. I even plugged in my track IR, which is kind of weird because I never use my track IR, just so I could look around and see what was going on. And it was amazing. I know this was a test. I think I saw it somewhere on the forums that this was just a test, but this is how sim battle tanks should be played. There shouldn't be a minimap. There shouldn't be any of that. Honestly, this is the way it should be played. Now, one of the biggest gripes I have, though, at the moment, especially if this is going to become the new standard, we need compass bearings. And what do I mean by compass bearings? You need a compass. If you've ever been in the planes and you've gone to the view where you get the horizon indicator, there's a compass at the top. And that pretty much is your compass bearings. You need to be able to call out a bearing of some sort if you're playing with friends. Not just, because you can't use the map grids anymore with sim battles because they're disabled. So you need to have a way to be able to call out map bearings and actually get your friends on looking in the same direction that you're looking instead of just saying left, right, 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Bearings are the easiest way to get everybody on the same page. There needs to be something added like that. Just even right above the little score bar would be perfect. And I would assume it would have to be set to the direction your commander's looking, not your gun or your tank's facing. That might cause issues if it's where your gun's looking. Space off the fact that your head can be on a swivel and your gun can be facing somewhere else. So you quickly look to your right and say, hey, I got a guy bearing 030 when your gun's pointing the other direction. You know what I mean? It could get really confusing. So I would assume it would have to be off of your commander. But at that point, it wouldn't really be that accurate because your commander doesn't have a zoom. Your turret does. So you could actually get an exact bearing if you actually use the turret. So we'll see. Something like that needs to get added, though, because it's navigation and communication is harder now, but there isn't any sort of minimap. Now, this battle actually had aircraft involved in it at the same time, and you could actually spawn in. You could either do aircraft or tanks or both, and I like that a lot. But another big gripe with it, when you mix the aircraft with the ground battles, is the fact that whenever you have ground attack aircraft in these sort of battles against tanks, it always tends to be the ground attack aircraft dogfight, while the tanks below get no support. And that's one of my biggest gripes. I would like to see aircraft at some point. I mean, you have AAA, and then you have ground attack aircraft that are just dueling it out while they're getting shot by AAA instead of focusing on ground targets, which they should be. That's a player issue. It's not really a game issue. But at that point, what can you really do? I mean, you have all the ground attack aircraft up dogfighting, and then the fighters come in, kill everybody, and then the fighters just go around machine gunning everybody around. It's just a player issue. There's nothing you can really do about it with game. I mean, you might be able to offer events where there aren't aircraft involved and it's just the tanks, which could be cool. That could also be a cool feature, but as far as just, aircraft and tanks, I mean, it's just a player issue with the ground attack aircraft just going and dogfighting instead of supporting people. And even like when I tried to get in as an attack aircraft, I had a hard time and right through the driver's hatch, done. But I even had a hard time getting in to support the tanks because the amount of enemy ground attack aircraft that were trying to shoot me down, and I found myself in a dogfights with bomb loads when I was there to drop bomb loads and ignore aircraft. This is a blast. I really, really hope this stays, because the level of immersion I got from this was just unparalleled. I felt like I was playing, like, Arma. I really did. Like, some of the tank battles I've been in Arma, I really felt like this is what I was doing. I felt like I was back at this all over again. And it was just amazing. And to me, it seems like the damage models for sim battles are a lot more historically accurate, and they feel a lot more realistic. Just based off my angling. Like, you'll see here in a little bit, I get into a battle with two T-3485s, and I keep myself angled at all times correctly. And I shrug the shots. No problem. But I feel like if I would have done that same maneuver, because I've done that maneuver multiple times in realistic battle, I would have been dead. So for me, this feels like it's more skill-based than who sees who first, like realistic is, or arcade. I mean, arcade's just whoever gets the shot off first kind of thing, while realistic is usually whoever sees who sees who first gets the kill. Sim battles is definitely where I want to continue playing. This is what I wanted tanks to be, and when tanks first got released and I saw the sim battle minimap, I was really disappointed in that. I felt like that was probably the biggest draw, and that's why I kind of stopped playing sim battles for a little while, because you could be perfectly camouflaged the way old sim battles was. Perfectly camouflaged, and all it takes is that one tank to just appear in your area, and you're marked on a minimap, and it doesn't take a rocket scientist to figure out exactly where you are based off the minimap. When the first encounter I've ever had, the first gameplay I ever did with sim battle, I had a Stug perfectly camouflaged behind a wall. I mean, this guy, I knew where he was because of the minimap. I knew where he was because the minimap was there. But this guy, if I had no minimap, could have killed every single person on my team, because of the way he was hulled down behind this wall in the bushes. I mean, even though I knew where he was and I was visually looking right at him, it took me a good little while to actually pick him out, zoomed in through my gun sight, because that's what kind of a position he had set up. And that's the way sim battle should be. You should have the victor should be the guy who hides his tank best, or who can tactically move his tank across the battlefield better. And I really feel like with this game mode, that's what you're getting. You really are. I mean, like, you can't see tanks on here. You have to look. I saw a tank from my commander, and I actually had to zoom in to make sure that was a Tiger and not an enemy. You really have to pay attention. And that's what I want from this. The level of immersion is where it should be with these sim battles. And I hope everybody gets up behind on it, because I know a lot of people stopped playing sim battles tanks based off the fact that there was a mini-map. And I've queued for sim battle tanks before, and I've had to wait 20-30 minutes before. I queued for this event, and I literally waited about 2 minutes. 2 minutes, not even. And that's usually what a realistic tank battle queue time is. It's just awesome. I mean, it really, really is. And of course, I'm sitting here getting pegged by something. I have no clue what it is, and I'm trying to angle. But if you don't know where you're getting shot at from, it's kind of hard to angle exactly. And then there it is. And then, of course, we're going to smoke him. And, you know, I felt like the tanks that were used in these battles and events were a lot more balanced. I'm actually liking the events a lot more than just queuing for different things. I feel like the events are where it's at, really, honestly. Right to the driver's hatch again. And, you know, a lot of people say, you know, that War Thunder isn't really a simulator. But honestly, I feel like the tanks in Simulator are probably the closest you're going to get to actually commanding and fighting in a tank. I really feel like it. I would actually, you know, I wouldn't put down the commander actually being an actual hold down in the seat using his periscope, instead of the view you get now, which is just you kind of, you know, turned out looking around, which is unrealistic at best. But, you know, I would actually approve of that change if they actually did that, to where you would actually be looking through a periscope, 360, boom, and then, you know, you would switch to your gunner seat with your sight with V. But at that point, you would need a bearing, and things would get confusing if you wanted to do it this way. This is the easiest way to actually make this happen. So I agree with how it is now. There's nothing wrong with how it is now, but you guys know me. The more realism you get into this, the better. I honestly do not care. It doesn't burden me whatsoever. I like it. You could actually make me fucking have a shifter fucking knob next to me, and I'll change gears in this tank. I mean, I really like it. But this is the way sim battles should be. If you're on the forums, if you're a part of the War Thunder community at all, definitely voice up, let them know that this is how the change should be from now on. This is how tank sims should be. There shouldn't be any minimap whatsoever. I know a lot of people are going to agree that was the biggest gripe as before. And I mean, this next engagement I get into is probably the coolest one I've ever been in. 2 T-3485s. I mean, if you were playing realistic, this would be a death sentence. It really would. I mean, it's just insanity. The whole thing is just insanity. This is what sim battles is about, that feeling. I felt like I was in fury in this battle. I really did. Even though I was the lone tiger, I felt like I was in fury. I mean, it was just great. I felt like I mean, that's the sensation that you should get from these types of things. The battle should be more intense. It should feel that way. And of course, now everyone's pushing around. They're going to try to get around on me. That's how it usually goes. The T-34s will go and push and flank, and the Tigers will sit there and do their best to actually get some kills. But of course, I got the angling down, so as long as I keep my angle, I should be alright, unless they penetrate the turret, which is pretty hard at best. And then see, he's moving to try to get out of my angling, but at the same time, he's not angling himself correctly, and we get him. But at the same time, while adjusting my angling for him, I'm screwing up my angling for the other tank. I mean, that's how it should be. That's the fun in it all. I mean, it's just that good. Thank God I shot that other T-34 in the turret and took out his breach, or I would have been dead here, honestly. And then there we go. That's one down and one more left. I mean, this is how sim battle should be. I wouldn't even see if this was the original sim battles. I wouldn't know if there's a tank coming up behind me. In this sim battles, I don't know. There could be somebody flanking around behind me. I don't know, because I haven't looked back there. That's the greatest part about it. I mean, it's just that good. It is amazing. I mean, you guys check it out. It's on the events. I think it still should be up on the events. I don't know how long. I can't remember how long events should work out for. But you definitely have to check it out. It's a ton of fun. I mean, tank sims is the best thing you can actually play. And then here, when you see what kills me, you're gonna laugh, because it's just that funny. No, I don't get killed here. Apparently I got killed in a minute. But it's just crazy. Especially the way I get killed. The M4A276 killing the Tiger. But look at this. Dead. It's amazing. Go check it out. Play tank sims. I'll be on there. It's a fucking ton of fun.